Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say hello and welcome to Bridge Radio Africa. Ashford Garley Live. This is just a test after being away for a while, and let us show hope that you are having a great time tonight. Uh, as always, Father God, want to give you praise, want to magnify your name, want to say thanks for making us to see yet another day. Father, we're grateful to you, and in the name of Jesus, we've given thanks. Okay, well, I hope, folks, you're getting us loud and clear. We're doing a quick test here. I want to say hi to my cousin AB Bobley. He's watching us from Golden Valley, Minnesota. AB, how are you? I also like to give my friend and brother, Dr. James T. Fisk, a minute or two to introduce himself. Mr. Fisk.
Thank you, Ashford, and congratulations that we are back on the air. And I want to extend my greetings to everyone in viewing and listening land. This is Bridge Radio with ASHFORD GARLEY. Uh, we are usually on the air on Mondays and Tuesdays, but as Ashford said, this is a test broadcast, and basically I'll be following his lead tonight. I'm Dr. Fisk, the DNP, as it shows. And I have a profession that's different from politics, but politics and what is obtaining in Liberia should be the responsibility of every well meaning Liberian. So this is why we try to get involved. Thank you.
The fact that we both have been of the political arena for a minute, going on 2 months now. I have been in transition from one end to another. Uh, I think this is a perfect time for us to engage our followers, our viewers. Uh, After being away, what do they know so far as we approach these elections? Elections will be held on the 10th of October, and there are several political actors uh, involved in these elections. Uh, Only one person can take the presidency. Mr. Joseph Jackson is in the welcome back on air, my brother. It's been a long time. Thank you, Joe. Only one person can take the presidency, James, and they are all vigorously campaigning. And we've noticed now that the representatives and senators of the 15 political subdivisions are all gathered and they're stable now in the various counties, trying to mobilize and encourage the Wui voted to vote for the candidate of their choice.
But the thing is, what we should notice is the vigorousness of people trying to hold on to political positions back in Liberia versus the vigorousness of trying to do what is right for the people, their own constituents, for who gave them power, and on the basis of upon which they go to say that they are representing people. So if you look across the land and breadth of Liberia and you look into those various constituencies, um, Liberians need to understand that it's not just the presidency that should be the focus, because of the office of the presidency functions well or not well, depending on how it is able to work in concert with the national legislature. So if you have a presidency that has not been able to develop a cogent agenda for the country, and then you have a legislature that is marching in suit, then what you have is a bunch of people who are just seeking office, and then because the population has limited alternatives to select from, they end up putting these same people back into office and getting the same kind of results that you continue to see in Liberia, which is nothing essentially. It's nothing that's happening in the country.
Now, why is this guy seeking re-election? Before you answer that, I want to speak to our people here. I see Robert Bone, Logan. Rabbi, it's been a long time, my brother. Joseph Jackson, A.B. Bobley, uh, Vic, Favor, long time. She said hello, Ash for the Giant, and hello, Dr. James Fisk. Now, the thing here is, let me uh, officially tell my people that I have transitioned from the East Coast. I now live in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. And I just want to say a big thanks for the reception since I moved to Minnesota. My friend and big brother, Vayu Wasan, were very hospitable. Uh, my cousin Nehemiah Garley, Samuel Simpson Barker, Cheston Thomas, Bendura Thomas Dixon, you know, uh, Bobby Toady, and several other friends who extended the welcome handshake to me when I moved to in Minnesota. Erwin Youngo, a good friend and brother, and to those of you, the hardworking brothers and sisters here in Minnesota, Mrs. Pauline Badio, uh, D Grace, the cohort conflict, and I want to say a big thanks to a very special woman. She has been very instrumental. You see, sometimes you have people in your life that will come in your life to give you that push. Despite the talent and expertise, you need that very special someone to come into your life to say, you know what, I believe in you. You can do this. And in this instance, I want to say the big thanks to my friend, my very special friend. You know who you are. And I also like to say the big thanks to my big sister, Yumutro Krenga. I speak to her every day, and she's here in Minnesota as well. She's been very instrumental in helping me get situated here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. So, I mean, it's been a great joining. It's been a pleasure being here. As long as you're willing to work hard and play by the rules. Minnesota, the Twin Cities of Minnesota is, in fact, one of the best places you want to be. So I feel great in being my in being my own little new home, a new spot here. So it just doesn't get any better. Now, Fisk, I would like to say welcome to Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts. Can you please unmute your device and speak to us? Letty, how you doing? It's been a minute.
Hey, looking good.
Thank you.
How you doing,
I'm
Dr. Fisk?
good.
Oh, how are you, Letty? It's a pleasure. It's been a minute.
Thank you. I know it's been. Where this man coming from? Looking all suited
You know
and
what? You know
looking
what?
like new money.
Well, in the absence in the absence of Idatus, I want Letty to play that role tonight because Letty has been very involved into the Liberian politics as we approach these elections. So she will walk us through, tell us what's going on. I know the political actors are all on the battlefield now, trying to make their presence known. So, Mrs. Roberts, what do you
Mhm.
know so far? Talk to us.
Yeah, well, everybody's campaigning to be the number one person, but we are hoping that the people will make the decisions with all of the political actors running around doing rallies, and some are paying people, some are trucking people, you name it. All of the things that they shouldn't do, but that's what they're doing. And then we just, had this other hot topic with one of our gospel artists being less than the best person he should be. There's so much, thing in the news with that. But for the most part, we're all looking forward to a great election and a free and fair election. Um, that's what I have so far. I haven't been on too much today on social media, but I know that yesterday was a blue day for the CDC, and I think the Unity Party had their rally today as well. But like I said, I wasn't too into social media today. And
Okay.
yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, we'd like to say welcome to the Honorable Samuel Tamagoa. He said, as for the giant, the master of the microphone, we miss you so much. You know that. I am one of your admirers. Welcome back. I am still in Asia, China. You know what we're going to do a little different here tonight is we are going to be a little interactive. Ibrahim Dantore Diallo. Dubre Dubre. It's been a long time, my brother. I believe he's in the Plebo, Maryland, and he's joining us from there tonight. We will open up the telephone lines, and folks will weigh in and tell us how they feel about the upcoming elections in Liberia. In the meantime, Dr. Fisk, this guy wants to be reelected. Uh, what has he done? What are the tangibles? What can he show to the people? Why is he asking to be reelected? And some are saying they are dishing out money now. You know, my thing is that's the Liberian people money. If they bring the money, take the money and don't vote for them. If you think your life is better off than what it was 5, 6 years ago, then do what you have to do. But if you know you are feeling the pain, look, grown men, grown women are suffering in that country. And just a privileged few think they own the country and our people continue to suffer. If you know that you are suffering, if you know that this guy does not mean well for the country, then vote right. Vote your conscience. When they bring money, eat the money and don't vote for them. Dr. Fisk.
Well, you see, the thing is, while it is true you can argue that Mr. Weah has not had many accomplishments, you also have to take into consideration that Joseph Boakai uh, was vice president for what 12 years. Okay, and during those 12 years, um, Ellen kept on presenting reports to the international community that spoke to something that was not happening in Liberia. The massive despondence of the Liberian people, she was not necessarily responding to. So, because of that despondence, that's why the people voted en masse for Weah, understanding that Weah understood their plight because he himself said he grew up in a ghetto just like them. So moving Weah is not the is I'll always say it's not the issue. It's who you replacing Weah with. Okay. Um, you have other candidates who may not have the money and and the political clout to have thousands and thousands of people after them. So with the alternatives we have now, that's Weah, Waka, and Cummings. Okay, have we have we scrutinized them sufficiently to say that okay, fine, we can trust this person with leadership? And my concern has always been that do we have the right structures? Because if you have the right structures in place and people are playing by the rules, basically you can make anybody president of Liberia. Okay, just look at the situation that occurred in the United States of America. Donald Trump was a controversial figure, but despite all of the things that he may have allegedly tried to do, because you have strong structures in this country, it didn't go anywhere. Okay, so it's about making sure that the structures in Liberia are working well in the interest of the people. And if it's not working well in the interest of the people, then we need to understand that what is obtaining in Liberia is just electoral politics and not necessarily democracy, because democracy goes one step further. Democracy is about accountability. Democracy is synonymous with accountability. Almost none of these people who are running for offices have held themselves accountable to the Liberian people, because the president don't hold himself to that standard. He never held the previous government to that standard. So you have a very loose process that's ongoing in the country, but that's the only process that the people have to let them make the best out of it. I've always said the only good, the only good that I see in trying to take Weah out of office is that politicians get to understand that if you come and take the people for granted, you'll be a one-termer. That's the only thing. So if
Cool.
Waka comes
Can
and
you
he
move
doesn't
my
have
car, please?
a good agenda for the Liberian people, he becomes a one-termer as well. So that's the only precedent Liberian people can set to help correct some of the ongoing wrongs against the progress and development of that country. That's what I would
Well,
say.
well, Dr. Fisk, Alexander B. Cummings uh, was a political rookie in 2017, and he came in six or seven, I believe. Today, Alex Cummings is the hardest working politician in the country. Now, things have changed. Things have changed. People are now saying Alex Cummings might end up being in the second round with either George Weah or Joseph Boyka. What has changed?
The thing is, Liberian people to some extent are not stupid people. Okay. Once upon a time, David Fahad used to be finance minister of Liberia, and the people did not like how he ran the Ministry of Finance when he decided to be senator, I think, of Grand Bassa County. The people chop his money, and then at the end of the day, he got almost nothing in terms of votes. And he started to refer to Liberian people as being ungrateful. No, you were ungrateful. Something similar to what George Weah is doing right now. He talks about how he's been doing so much for the Liberian people. No, this is not. The people did not vote for a patronage system of government. They wanted a system that will be able to empower them. Okay, so let's talk about Cummings. In politics, the end justifies the means. That's what politics is all about. Okay, whatever you do within legal means, and you are able to accomplish your goal, then of course the means has been justified. Perhaps maybe Liberian people have understood that charisma alone is not sufficient to give them the deliverables that they seek. Otherwise, they will be in the trunk behind George Weah because he's a good booga dancer. Okay, so maybe people see in Alexander Cummings those things that they don't see in Joseph Boyka, the kind of entrenched participation in the governance of Liberia with nothing to show for decades. They don't see that in Cummings. They don't see in Cummings what you would see in Weah, somebody who was a president, and then you run in the country, you leave the country and go sit down to go watch your son playing soccer, where people are in destitute. Or you continue to see filth in the streets of the country that is contributing to significant health hazard in the country, and you think that it's not important to do anything about it. You have a guy in Jefferson Koji who's supposed to be the city mayor, and then he tells you, I'm not a dumper hero. You see, and then people think that if they take Van Vicker and walk parade Van Vicker in the streets of Liberia, then of course people will go and vote for George Weah because of Van Vicker, as if to say people don't understand that Van Vicker is not going to be anywhere near government. You see, so maybe at some point people are beginning to realize that even though Cummings may not have charisma, which I think he should have, because it shows your ability to relate to the people, your constituents, but at the same time, too, people are beginning to understand that they need to seek their own personal welfare. And we are dividing money at the 11th hour tells you that he has no real agenda for the country. And people want
And
someone who has a real agenda for the country.
and I'll put the same question back to Mrs. Rabbits. But in the meantime, I'd like to say hi to Mr. Charles Russell, Big Brother Charles Russell, my man. You were very helpful the other day, man. You were you were a lifesaver. I'm pretty sure you're doing well there in Philly. Uh, Lady, the thing here is Cummins has proven himself to be a serious, formidable force in Liberia as it relates to Liberian politics. I mean, he's the hardest working politician in the country. People are now saying, for example, if Cummins and Boyka were to be in the second round, Boyka supporters themselves are saying they will vote for Cummins because they believe that this guy has it. They believe that this
Most
guy can
definitely.
transform the country. But then again, people are saying Cummings does not have traction. He does not have the numbers. But equally so, he has been working very hard and making his presence known in the country as a politician. Letty?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great observation. And again, at some point, we were hoping, and we will come to see that in reality, people will see that it's not all about the, you know, all of the glam and all of the showcasing when really you do nothing for the people that elected you. You just put few little showcase things here just to say, oh, this, when somebody walks here, they will say this. But the bottom line is what matters to people, their daily bread. When you have to struggle on a daily basis to find food to eat, to go, I've spoken to people who say just to leave the to go from one part of town on Robertsfield Highway, you have to get off the bike or out of the car. I forget the word they use, but it's such funny thing because like your back hurts, you have to get out to go use the bathroom so often. That's how bad the roads are. But you call yourself bad road medicine, like and you have done nothing but to showcase and pretend to have done something. So I'm glad that the people are coming to see that it's not all about glam. Mr. Cummings stands for something. He has done his work. He has he has done his work off the course and on the course that people can see that he's determined. And if you don't choose me, he has said it. If you don't choose me, it's okay. But I want to do something to help my people. And that's a lot of people coming even from the diaspora. A lot of people, if it wasn't for the giving that people do from diaspora, helping their people, Liberians would be crying even more. Okay? At the time of school openings, the number of calls that you get, and these people come and act like they are doing something or they've done something. Listen to this. The very Eugene Fagon who worked in the government was envious or angry, either or, of young Eugene Nangwe eating lobster in front of the people. So imagine the even more, they're even less fortunate that they can see that only your people are thriving. The few people that hang around you are willing to give themselves up, to kiss, kiss up to you, for lack of a better word. Those are the ones that are here parading themselves. And you have seen the videos. People are now brave enough to show their faces and say we will eat their money, we will wear their shirts, but we will not vote for them. People have said those things silently, and coming to the 11th hour, they're saying it boldly that we will eat their money because not to eat it will be foolish because they're going and they have taken our money, our resources. So whatever they bring to us, we at least taste it before they leave and they're on their way out. And I'm happy that the trajectory is changing.
Now, Dr. Fisk, uh, they have a few polls that have been conducted in the country uh, that put Joseph Human Boycott on top of uh, the choice for the presidency in Liberia. But despite the polls, uh, remember he had more endorsement from the senators in 2017, and he was on top of the polls again in 2017, but he but didn't win the elections. Now, Joseph Boyka, thing that is still lingering around as it relates to him. He was tied with this failed government for 12 years. He considered himself a parked car, a race car in the garage, and others tried to associate him with the government, the filler of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and the filler of the Unity Party. On top of that, Joseph Boyka is now in bed with uh, Africa's notorious killer, if not Liberia's notorious killer, the number one man, the warlord, the criminal, the killer, Prince Johnson, who is on record for his own selfish gain, telling the Liberian people that this old man is old. There's a clear chance now for Nima Kante to take over the presidency of Liberia. This old man is old. Jeremiah Cohn is the face. He's the man. He dumped Yombli Kanka. He dumped Henry Costa. He has selected Jeremiah Cohn. You don't allow this boy to disgrace us. Frankly, these elections are between George Weah and Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson is fighting for his life. George Weah is fighting to continue to steal from our people. Dr. Fisk, I can never, ever support the Unity Party or Joseph Boyka with the association of Prince Johnson. Thank goodness I am not for any political party, but that's the last thing I will ever do to support a guy who is associated with this notorious killer, this murderer, this warlord. Fix.
Yeah, the thing is, unfortunately, politics and electoral politics is not, it doesn't follow a logical trend. Because if it did follow a logical trend, then you have to ask yourself, why was we are elected in the first place? We was elected because the people were disappointed with the performance, the 12 years performance of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, of which Joseph Boakai was an integral part. Okay, you can't say it. It shows lack of integrity to say I don't want to. I know that the government is not functional, but I will just stay there and continue to draw a check for 12 years. It shows no integrity. Okay, so Liberian people voted, they gravitated towards WIA, even though they liked him, but they were despondent and they wanted an answer. They wanted someone who understood the plight from a grassroots level. That's why they gravitated towards WIA. And then WIA turned out to be a big failure. So, logically speaking, if WIA, in whom they felt would have been a savior, turned out to be a colossal failure, allegedly bringing substances into the country, allegedly, stealing so much money from the Liberian people and the rest of it, and just going around building soccer pitches. Why would you build soccer pitch in a place? Why don't you open a vocational institute, to empower all of the Zogos? You go to West Point or Claratown, whichever it is, and say you go to open football field. Why couldn't you open a factory to give people jobs? He decided not to do all of those things. You go into a poor community and you give the people entertainment on top of their poverty.
Yeah.
Okay? So what happened is that, logically speaking, if the people are not voting for WIA because they are despondent that he has become a failure, logically it doesn't make sense that they will go back to Joseph Boakai. Okay, so logically speaking, they will try to find yet another alternative, which is a good narrative for what's his name, Alexander Cummings. But Cummings' major problem, and his supporters don't seem to understand, they will argue with you on Facebook, is that the guy is not charismatic. Charisma is an indicator that you have the ability to relate to the common man. Okay, now if you don't have the ability to relate to the common man, what's going to happen? You're going to have another Amos Sawyer kind of government, okay, where you have this elite class of people who feel that they're better off than the rest of the people, and that's how they're going to run the country. Okay, most of the time people say, oh, Toba was the best president of Liberia. Toba was president at the time that Liberia had the capacity to build all of the roads that country ever needed. Toba was president at the time Liberia could have built all of the colleges that it ever needed. Toba was president at the time Liberia could have built all of the hospitals and all of those things. But because of that elite mentality, those guys were running the country and the poor continued to suffer. But because the population was small and you have excess of resources, so it was not seen until over time when there was an overpopulation, especially people migrating to Monrovia. Then people started to feel the crunch, and then all of these things started to happen. Okay, so that's the problem I have with Cummings. Okay, the other time there was some kind of picture, you see Cummings, you see the people standing up, and you see the body language, and people are so basically afraid of this guy because they feel that this guy, this guy is so up there, and he was passing. There was a little girl. Politics demanded, charisma demanded that you reach out, pick up the child, or maybe you stoop low to the child, stuff like that, something charismatic. And Cummings people will tell you, say, oh, well, he cannot be who he's not. Are you kidding me? That's the problem I have with him. Look at Ellen Johnson, the same elitist mentality. So she was running the country and living in a bubble and not understanding that the people were suffering. So she was writing all kinds of beautiful report with Morris Etoma and the rest of those people, while the people were suffering. So that's the problem I got with Cummings too. Okay, that if he's not relatable, it is a hint that in as much as he may have all of the goods intentions for the country, he may not be able to deliver those things in a way that would be impactful for the Liberian people, because he's walking into those slums and into those places. But what is he taking out? Has Cummings been able to tell the Liberian people, other than what he wants to do, what the people have told him that he now understands to be able to make adjustments in his policy? Has he ever had that kind of interview? This is one of the reasons why none of these guys will ever come on Bridge Radio, because they are afraid of the hard questions. Because these are the kind of questions I would like to ask someone like Cummings. All the time he's been walking around, what is the message he's gotten from the Liberian people when he walked through those slums? Because if you're walking through those slums and you're not interacting with those people, then of course people should be afraid. They may have all of good intentions, but may not be able to deliver, because you're going to surround yourself in a bubble that will make it difficult for you to relate to those people that you say you represent, the constituency of Liberia that you say you represent.
Well, folks, if you're just joining us, this is Ashford Garley live on Bridge Radio Africa. Now, this is just a test, because we don't usually come out on Fridays. This is just a test and to showcase myself to the Liberian people here in Minnesota. Minnesota is my new home now. So if you own a business out there and you want us to promote your business, all you have to do, please reach out to Bridge Radio Africa. If you're having a wedding, family reunion, and you would need that professional MC, reach out to Bridge Radio Africa as well. And we will be here to give you the best in maximum entertainment. Before we go to Lady, I believe we'll have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Mr.
Hello?
Man. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, tell us your name, sir.
My name is Joseph Conto, and I'm calling from Maryland, sir.
You live on the radio. Go ahead and make your point. You have just 1 minute.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to address something from our brother that is in studio right now. He making this issue about somebody being relatable to the people.
You're
If you
breaking
look at
up.
Georgia today, Georgia ate with the people in all the corner, in the slum and everything. He became president today in 2017 or 2018. He never spoke to the people until it is now election time before he went back to them. So when the people say you cannot be someone that you are not, it is true. You as a person, you are made in a unique way. If you try to change from being who you are, you will only be performing. And that's
Yeah.
the issue that we have with Liberia. We don't look at people who will tell us what need to be done and how they will go about doing it. Instead, we follow popularity, name recognition, than those who can actually do a good. And in Liberia, we look at ourselves as a country that was built on the Christian principle. But unfortunately, we celebrate people who do wrong things and we persecute those who do the right thing. So I don't even know what kind of Bible that we are reading in Liberia today. I believe the Liberian Bible, the Bible that we read in Liberia, I don't think is the one that was written by God himself. It's probably the one for Satan. Because we look at good people, Mr. Gali, you someone you hard working. You will work hard. You get everything by yourself. If you go to the Liberian people, they'll start to castigate you. They'll call you name and say all kind of bad things about you. So, my brother, when we're talking about this election, it's about the Liberian people. This is not for Cummings. Cummings cannot change to be anybody else. He's not somebody that can talk loud and yell all over the place. He is who he is. But let's look at the message. Let's look at the issue that are affecting the Liberian people. And those are the issues that we should be addressing when it comes to the election. That's what we should put forward
Thank
instead
you.
of put somebody personality.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Mr. Cotto.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead and respond, then we'll go to let you go.
Okay. So thank you, caller. But let me give you one very fine example that I'm sure you'll be able to relate to. Mr. Cummings, as president of or vice president of Coca-Cola, was he wearing the vice shirt that he's wearing every time he's in Liberia, or was he wearing suits to work? Okay, so was he acting when he was wearing suits? to sit in those board meetings, or is he acting because he's now wearing vice shirt? You have to be able to allow yourself to be subsumed in the situation you are trying to capture. Okay, what am I saying? You can't say you want to be a soccer player and you say you can't go on the field to practice. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. If you decide that's what you want to do and decide to go on the field to practice, it doesn't mean you are trying to be who you are not. Okay, you have understood that there are certain prerequisites. Okay, Mr. Cummings is not going to be ruling as a CEO, so to speak. He's going to be managing people in the sense that he's going to be dealing with members of the legislature, uh, the judiciary, and then the ordinary civil members of the civil society. Okay, it requires an ability to be relatable. Okay, so if the argument is that, oh well, he's an introvert and he's not going to be an extrovert over time, then of course we have to ask ourselves what exactly this guy wants. Because if you say you want something and the requirement for you to be able to get that thing is that there are certain steps you have to go through and say, well, these ones I'm not going to go through, then why he wearing visor? He should wear suit. He's a guy who wears suit. He doesn't wear visor. Okay, so it's just one of the examples, and I can continue to give you many. Okay, I was just reading somebody. They said, "Oh, I'm a liar because I'm saying that Cummings is an elitist." No, he is. It doesn't make me a liar. Okay, if you see all of his representations with the ordinary people, you don't see him reaching out to those people. He's working within the community. The people are standing one side, he's standing one side, he's shaking their hand. He can't even go to them or embrace them as a Liberian. These are things he's supposed to do. So if you tell me that as a politician and someone who's trying to earn the trust of the Liberian people, he doesn't have the ability to demonstrate that level of charisma, I got a problem with that.
Okay, now,
Okay? And it's not personal. It's part of his public persona. So no, that's not personal attack.
Mrs. Roberts, what do you make of the accusation that Cummins is not charismatic, he's not relatable, and he doesn't feel the pain that the common man feels?
I would like to disagree. We're here now at this time, and if you have come to see, as Dr. Smith is saying, that he's not reaching to people to hug them, then that means that's who he is. And to the caller's point, you can't be fake. You have to be you. You know, while it's true that we want everybody to be laughing and smiling with us and talking, that's a good thing. But one of the positive in that is he has his vice standard bearer who does that. So, it's just like any relationship, everybody can be the same. So either the husband is quiet and shy and not a people person, but he can get his point across, and then the wife is more of an entertainer, receptive to hosting and all that kind of stuff. So he picked someone who is relatable, just if that's what they're looking for. But
But
he
let
has
me just not to interrupt you, but help us to understand why he's now adapted the mannerism of dressing that he's adapted. Because back in the States, when he represented Coca-Cola, he wasn't wearing visor, he was wearing suits. So help us understand that.
Yeah, but it's the environment too. You
Exactly.
have to understand. So he relates to the weather. He has to be comfortable. He
Do
has
you
to
think it's
be
only the weather that's why he's dressing like that?
no, and the people as well. And
So, what,
and and
so
that's
why
our
is he not
culture.
relating to the people aspect?
He
That's
is
what the face.
relating to the people, but it's the way Dr. Fitz is saying, oh, everybody he comes in touch. You see, the difference between men and women is that in this 21st century, and you must also understand where he comes from. You have to be careful because we've seen people where they say, oh, even the current leadership, where the president hugs the vice president and people have their hand, pointing that out. So there's so many things that he has to be cautious of in the
You know,
environment where he is. Our people are quick to say, "Oh, maybe he over here, maybe he like this girl, that why he hug her like
Thank you,
that."
Lefty.
So there's a
Can I?
lot of issues.
All right. Can I
Yeah,
Can
please?
you show me a picture with Cummings holding a baby?
Guys, I will hold you guys there as we go to the telephone line. Hello, caller.
Hello, Mr. Ashford Garley. How you doing today?
Yeah, please tell us your name.
This is George Lobo.
Hey, it's been a long time, my brother.
I knew you were coming today.
Oh my God, man! You shouldn't be calling, man. You shouldn't be. You should ask for the link. You should be in studio, my brother.
Exactly, I thought so, but it's good to at least be here and following the flow. I want to thank you. This is my first time calling. It's been a while, but welcome back. I told you when you were off, I said, my man, we miss people like you guys. At least you elevate the conversation, ask some serious questions. At least you hold people feet to the fire. But I just wanted to chime in, and I just wanted to tell your fellow panelists in the studio, to the brother out there. No, let me say this to our friends out there, Mr. Gali. I think we've been with the pure on the show, and one of the reasons I'm glad that you are back is that there were people who support Mr. Cummings that you interviewed who said Mr. Cummings did not have the charisma to lead a movement, and I hope you keep those videos because some of us intend to come in your closet for them. Today, we've seen those very same people now trying to walk back and say Mr. Cummings can do it. But on a serious note, look, Mr. Cummings, and I said it the other day to my friends, and just so you know, I want to bring it public. I bet Mona Farah $1,000 that come October 10th, Mr. Cummings will not accumulate 7% of the vote. And so he took the bet. And I want to say it publicly because I hope she keep her word. Mr. Cummings will not get the vote he got in 2017. The reason is simple. Not only in 2017, Mr. Cummings was not well known. In 2017, when I say well known, many people don't understand. People were misinformed. Many Liberians were so on this notion that Mr. Cummings ran Coca-Cola. That issue has been defeated because people have been made to understand that he led a segment of Coca-Cola and not the entire company, Mr. Gali.
So are you?
In Boston.
Are you?
Let me finish the point. I'll take your question. Mr. Cummings in vice chair. Let's go to the dress code. No, Ashford, you can to you were to a better said the other time. You can wear African in Morovia. Let's stop it. You don't look different. Look at Mr. Cummings physical morphology in African share. It looks like he's been forced in it. It doesn't appear to look comfortable. Then when Joseph Walker wears Vache, look this thing here, you can't fake it. Mr. Cummings has been a corporate guy. Look, I admire the guy for what he accomplished on his own. I have nothing against him. If Cummings was elected president today, I'll go to sleep with no worries. But unfortunately, this job, which is a public servant job, we have the most experienced public servant in the race. And that is why I just told Mr. Cummings, I met with him, you know that, Ashford. And I shook his hand and told him, I said, Mr. Cummings, I can't leave the most qualified, most competent, most experienced public servant and support you. It's not possible. But I respect who you are. And I think that like when people have just decided that they want to save money. And because they want to save money, going to a runoff means you want to create opportunity for CDC to make money. So to end this thing, if vote for Mr. Cummings is a voting for CDC. So this election is a repeat of the 2017 runoff. And that's why the people going with Ambassador Bwaka.
I will reserve my questions until you come back on the show live. But thanks for calling.
Just let me even if it means I will leave work, I'll make myself available to come on Ashford Garden. This will be my first time of publicly appearing on the show for a very long time, and I want to do it on the Bruce Radio. Okay?
Thank you,
and
sir.
I hope to join you and your panelists. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir.
George Lobo, don't run away.
Okay, that was George Lobo making his presence known. We have a 919 number. Tell us your name, please.
This Lo-Fi Julius.
Hey,
And I'm calling from Raleigh,
my
North
brother.
Carolina.
You know when George Lobo come, Lobo has to come too. You know that, right? Oh my God. What's up, my brother?
I'm doing good. Let us not make a
listen,
comparison about
listen, Lofa.
the appearance of.
Listen, they say give the man his flower while he's alive, all right? And
Uh-huh.
on this public manner, folks, I'm telling you, I was struggling with a software on how to broadcast. This young brother you see on here now that just called Lofa Julius, he introduced StreamYard to me 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. He said, Big brother, this is the way to go. It will make your life a lot more easier. And ever since then, I have been stuck with StreamYard. Lofa, in this public manner, I want to say thank you and keep up the good work, my brother. Welcome to the show.
Ashford, thank you for acknowledging and appreciating the little that we do. But at this point, it's about Liberia. We contribute to the best way that we can. I'm listening to Lobo talk about somebody having to adapt. Look, Ashford, let's be serious about transformation in Liberia, man. Let us stop playing with the future of young people. Are we talking about an individual who publicly accepted a lie about owning a farm, where a young man had to come out publicly upset that Honorable Boykai accepted the title of owning a farm that he had nothing to do with? Are we talking about an individual who sat supinely and refused, okay, to address all of the allegations against him by Henry Costa, a man whom he referred to as his son? This is a man who is mimicking everything that George Weah did in 2017 with the expectation that he will actually repeat the same thing that George Weah is doing today. Look, Ashford, this is not about popularity. We will not dwell on this nonsense of popularity contest and then push our people or plunge our entire nation down the drain further than it is today, Ashford. Let us be honest to ourselves. The likes of Lobo and other people running around here with this nonsense of noise making. Look, we are about transformation. There are options out there. Okay, there is an Alexander Cummings, there is a Carmes Maniba, and there is a Tewan Gongo that should actually take us to the future and not to take us back or keep us to where we are. Honorable Boyka was given 12 consecutive years where he admitted to being a part of the squandering of the possible opportunity of future of the young people. Are you kidding me? What you're telling me in the population of almost 5 million Liberians, we can't find anybody competent to spearhead the affairs of the state. Instead, we have to bring back a man who we can honestly see his failure. We have no record. I dare and challenge anybody on this entire social media to bring the record of Honorable Boykai success,
Thank you.
whether in the private sector or in the public sector. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm at my son's football game, but listening to folks coming
You
out
see,
here and playing
Lofa, the next
political
time,
nonsense with it, I have to say
the
this.
next time you appear on the show, you'll be live in studio, man. I love this debate, and that's why you nigga my
Anytime, I for
that's why
will
you
take
nigga
note.
my
You know
Breeze
why
Radio,
we have to
James.
do these things.
That's why you nigga my Breeze Radio, because the fact that we don't support any of these political actors, you are open to come on here and express yourself. Tell us who you think is better for Liberia. Thank you, Lofa. We'll
I
be in
can tell you, I can tell you this before I get off here quickly. I can tell you, anybody other than Joseph Boykai or George Weah can better steer the state of our affairs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a 612 number. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Yes, my name is Dorek Crow, calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
You're live.
thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Garley. See, it's just another, extra layer, being added on Cummings, and another unfair criticism because there's nothing there to criticize this man about. You see, Cummings is not fit. That's the problem. It's not, your normal politician or whoever fake, fake relationship just because they want to lie to you. Joseph Burger, first of all, you're talking about being having charisma. Go and look at all of Mr. Burger pictures. Mr. Burger cannot look at anybody's face when you're shaking hands. Go look at the pictures. Okay? Cummings is a different leader. So talking about African shape, how are we gonna do stuff like that? Really? African, you say Africans are a little comfortable here? That's the new criticism? Are we looking for somebody to take our culture forward or talking about African shape? That's an embarrassing, criticism to have. Okay? Now look at Mr. Burger. You see the whole thing here about, Burger this and Burger that. Don't forget about Burger, 50 years in government. Look at Burger who left for the past 6 years. What have they been doing? Henry Kosa came out and accused that they're taking care of the public. After 50 years in government, then you ready to come and talking about we're supporting you, financially. Joseph Burger, advanced civil rights country, Joseph Burger going to be arrested because it's our law to take our foreign money, our foreign company money, and the act of it going to that meeting. That's the crime.
Thank you.
Not because the drugs are not there, so that means you're not be arrested for trying to possess drugs. So it's the same thing. He went there to receive the money. So in a advanced country, Joseph Burger would have been disqualified by this time. So we get putting the on a false federal passing right now. He's talking about how and mighty skills.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks for calling.
Consummate professional. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Upsetting.
Thank you. Again, we're back the first time in pretty close to a month and a half. This is how we're gonna do this in the next coming days and weeks as we approach these elections. And folks, that's enough for the callers. We'll now begin taking our final statements, and then we'll close up. We have only an hour tonight, and we'll get ourselves prepared for Monday, Tuesday. Hopefully, we can add another day because there are some folks who have expressed their interest in coming on independent, who in coming to express their concerns about the elections in Liberia. So, Letty, I believe you didn't conclude your statement. I want you to give your statement,
Yeah.
do your closing statement, and then we can go to Dr. Fisk.
Yeah, Dr. Fisk, as a fellow panelist, I don't want for us to go at it in a hot pursuit, but let's not. I agree with the callers. Let's not reduce this conversation to how people are dressed or what they're wearing, because again, climate change. You will dress to fit the climate. When I've been in Liberia, and sometimes you don't even want to come outside because of the heat. So you look for all of the strapless as many you can find. So, but when we're talking about the issues, let's talk about who can help change things in our country. We have seen what has happened. We've seen that Eugene Nangbe was on, has been in the media, and he has nothing good to even talk about. Every time people challenge the non-performance of his leader, he almost wants to attack you personally. I told him we were all happy that we had and not me, I didn't vote for him, but since, let's say, everybody said that we are is one of us. He comes from poor and he comes from this. Okay, yes, that's all good. But what has he done for the people? Someone was in Grand Coup. He has few little huts, upgrade from hut to house. The same little boxes. So like somebody came and just put boxes down, and the people can go in. I don't know if it has toilet. I didn't see the inside. But the East Coast is not possible for the people that come from that side of the country, and you want to vote for a second term. You have 5 or if not 10 persons that come from that side of the country that are working in the government, and you think talking about somebody's shirt and not greeting people or hugging babies, that's all photo op. Even here in America, people do it, but that's all photo op. So even when they do it here, I get like, okay, yeah, right. If you're not running, would you really be holding that child? So let's not do things that are just gonna make people look like they're sentimental. Let's be who we are. Because I'd rather someone pick me up, even if I'm always not smiling, for example. Take me because I can do the job, not because I'm not smiling with you. So
Thank you,
let's
Mr. Rivers.
elevate this conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you to the callers.
And thanks for holding it down. We're back, and we are going to be here until these elections are held. Thank you so much. Dr. Fisk.
Yeah, thank you, Ashford, once more. One of the reasons, in election, perception, well, in any situation you find yourself, perception is very important. One of the reasons why George Weah won the election is because there was this perception that this guy is one of us, even though he wasn't, and he has shown that he wasn't. Okay. Someone I've been looking through the comments, and I'll try as much as possible in my wrap up to address some of them. Okay, someone said that when you are in the corporate world, you have certain criteria to meet, especially dress code. And I agree. So was Mr. Cummings faking when he was wearing those suits as a corporate person? No, he wasn't. Okay. It's a matter of adaptability. Okay. For every situation that you find yourself in, there are criteria that needs to be met. Someone says, is it a constitutional criteria? No, everything doesn't have to be constitutional. Okay. What if is a cultural expectation, not necessarily constitutional? What is it is a political role? What if a president is supposed to be a consoler in chief? So can we say because Mr. Cummings is not personable, if there was a national tragedy, he will be sending his vice president Bromskin to go and speak on behalf of the nation? Is that what we're saying? I just trying to get us to understand that at the end of the day, Mr. Cummings is not going to be running an office if he becomes president of Liberia. He's going to be running an institution that requires that he deals with a cross segment of the Liberian people. Okay. And the litmus test of his ability to deliver is his relatability. And we're seeing that it's not very relatable. Okay. And someone was saying that it's sad that when you become an educated person, you become an elitist. No, not necessarily. I don't look down on education because I myself am a very educated person. But no one who knows me would say that I'm an elitist. Okay. So you can be educated and still relate to the people. Charles Taylor was not a booger. He was a very educated guy, but just he didn't use his education in the interest of the Liberian people. But the perception that Charles Taylor was relatable was out there, even though he was not. Okay. So, long story short, politics is not logical. Voting is not logical. Otherwise, you would not be electing Joseph Boaka after you just elected Weah, because Weah was elected because Liberian people saw that Ellen had failed. So, how do you come back now to elect Joseph Boaka? It doesn't make any sense. Okay. So, politics is not necessarily logical. But if Cummings is the person that could be that alternative, then of course Cummings need to understand that to be a president of a nation, that a number of criteria you have to meet. And this is one of the reasons why, people try to make it look simplistic. It's not because of weather. Mr. Cummings were even accused of being a Congo guy, and people understand Congo to mean people who feel that they are more superior than the rest of the country. So as a way of trying to change that negative perception, one of those things he has done is to adapt a dress code that makes the nation to understand that no, I'm one of you. It has nothing to do with the weather. So is he pretending because he's
No,
wearing something that makes him look relatable? So
no.
just the same way how he was able to adapt to wear something that makes him relatable, in terms of his clothing, he needs to understand too, take it one step further,
Thank you,
be
Face.
able to relate to the ordinary people, be able to pick up a baby. I'm not concerned about Joseph Boaka. Logically, Boaka shouldn't be president. But Cummings, you can show me one picture where Cummings is picking up a child and trying to talk to the mother, because it's not just about what he knows to deliver for the Liberian people. He also needs to be able to understand what the Liberian people perceive to be the major problems that are bugging them, for which they need him to be their president.
We're back.
Okay, just wrap up to say that the most important of all of it, and it's good that all of the presidential candidates and the rest of them are speaking to that issue.
Thank you, Face.
One thing that's important is creating job opportunities for Liberian people, and all of them are speaking to that issue, and I'm happy. Thank you.
And folks, that's all the time we have to be with you tonight. God willing, we will be back on Monday with a fresh, brand new edition of the show. At that time, we'll have the full panel on the program. In the meantime, please allow me to borrow the wordings or phrases of the wise man. When you fall, make sure you land on your back, because when you can look up, you can get up. A setback is a setup for a comeback. When people say no to you, please don't take it personally. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves. They're saying no to living a bigger life. They're saying no to what is going on in their heads because they're suffering from possibility blindness. They know they're traveling. They can see themselves doing better. So they will envy you. They will speak a lot of jealousy towards you. Folks, with that said, that's all the time we have to be with you. Africa's media doobie doo extraordinaire. I'm Ashford Garley. Have a good night.